Hey guys, here's my next project. Right behind me is a giant hole in the wall of my house. And that hole continues around the side, down along the bottom, and up, 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 almost to the attic. Now the reason these holes are in the wall is because I put them there. But the reason I put them there is because there was plumbing outside of the house. And it ran over to the washer and dryer over here. And the electrical used to be just an extension cord running to these things. So I trenched everything underneath and popped up here. And I put an electrical line going to the washer dryer, and the plumbing, which used to be outside the house, I changed it to go inside, feeding my bathroom, which meant carving out a trench. And here's my plumbing line. Here's all the copper connections. And here I have both the electrical going underground and the plumbing coming up through the wall, up, 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 and popping out and going into the attic. So that was my work. And I've left a giant hole in my house. When I opened this up, I learned that this foundation is messed up really badly. So I have to, and it doesn't even go all the way out. So I have to do some digging and rebuilding of that concrete foundation. Also, check this out. Termites got to these studs, so there's very little holding this wall up. So I have to rebuild all of this and all the way around the other side and come it up, and then I have to re-stucco it. But even before that, since these studs are all eaten up by termites, this whole shed, I'm going to back up and show you what the house looks like. This whole thing is leaning down. Since there's very little holding up that part of the wall, it's sagging. I don't even know what's holding this wall up. I think the mortar on the other side is what's holding it up. So I have a lot to do. And I have to tear this whole wall down and get to the studs and reframe everything, redo the foundation. I'm going to put all that plumbing is going to go inside the wall, so I have to reroute those vents and drains, and then do some stucco work. It's a big job. Come along with me. So here's another issue I have to deal with. I have to go all around the existing foundation and deal with things like this. Yeah, the existing foundation is junk. Oh boy. Turns a big job into a bigger job. Oh boy. I did some excavating, and it's a little worse than I thought. In here, this is where the studs come down. There should be foundation under here, and there's none. But even worse, when you get further to here, underneath the stud, there's no foundation at all. This is like the slab for the bathroom floor, and what should be supporting these studs doesn't exist. All along here, I dug it out. There's like nothing under there. Around the side, it's a little better. It has, but even then, it's just partial support. Let's see if I can see the line. Here's the stud, the termite-eaten stud. And along the line, part of it is supported, but not all of it. But I'm going to build it out to meet the line of the stucco. So it'll be one line going down. So I'm going to add another few inches to the side of this. So there'll be something supporting. This is doing a good job over here of supporting the side, but in front here, man, there's nothing. There's nothing under there. Everything's dug out, and I've had a day to think about how to proceed with the plumbing. So, this incoming hot water line, I'm going going to extend it down under what will be the foundation and run it over and kick it out a little more and have it run with those other guys. And this incoming cold, I'm going to bump it out a little bit so it's away from the foundation. Now with these drains and vents, they're outside of the wall, so coming from here, I'm going to bring it in further and have it come up through that foundation that I'm going to pour and run a new drain here. Now as far as the vent, see there's a clean out here and it joins this other thing to vent out of the roof. This is a tough one because to run it over inside I'd have to cross some studs and that's no good. So I have a few choices. What I think I'm going to do is pop it straight up and have a clean out right here so it's, you know, just a little above this slab, and it'll be in the corner. So it'll be over here, but it'll, you know, be in the corner. And for venting, instead of coming up and out, I'm going to vent it from the inside with a mechanical vent. I just learned something interesting. This part of the drain wasn't glued in. Oh, and this is cracked. Oh, that's kind of nice. Okay, we'll fix that. That just cracked. I gotta figure out what to do. This job is on hold. The PVC pipe was stuck into the original steel waste pipe, and this collar around here just snapped off. It was brittle and rusted, so not much is and was holding it. So that's a problem. When it happened, I was a bit lost. Didn't know what to do about this thing. But I talked to my brother, and he said, no problem, no problem. Told me what to do. Said, all right, call me if you need anything. So we have a solution. And so this happened. I was cleaning it, preparing it, and a big piece chipped off. This cast iron is really brittle. So I cut it off clean at a lower spot, but I'm running out of material. Hey there. This thing is the link between the cast iron pipe and PVC. I've pre-measured and pre-cut and dry fit all the pieces, so I'm just going to assemble them. And I put marks on the pieces so I know where to line them up. Sink drains are usually 1.5 inches, but I chose 1.25 inches so that the PVC can get deep into this cast iron pipe. And I won't have to rely on the Fernco connector underground. Although the Fernco is sealed and it'll hold back anything that comes out, but I won't need it under most conditions unless if it gets clogged or something. So here's the line of the slab in the corner. This is going to come up right about here, just above the slab. Turns out it's going to be inside the wall a little bit, but it's under the foundation, so this is all going to be embedded in concrete. So I'm going to make a little alcove for it to sit in. And now the capper. Et voila. Under the sink, I have this indoor vent that I had mentioned. When the water drains, air can come from behind it and chase the water down. You don't get glug glug. It doesn't, suction doesn't pull water out of the trap, but it doesn't allow air to come out, so I don't smell the gases of the sewage pipe. So now all of the subgrade plumbing is done. The only thing left is this vent that's going to be above the level of the foundation, so I can do that later. You can see my drain is now plumbed in, and I have the clean out there and the Fernco connector tying it all together. And if you follow my copper, I kicked all of that out away from the wall, and I put this little stub out here for a future project. Eventually I want a hose bib up front for gardening or whatever. So now I can start filling the soil in up to the foundation level. All right, I got the soil back in there up to the level of the foundation, like the bottom. I'm gonna compact it some more because I want it nice and tight, and then I'll make up the forms for the concrete. Okay, the cement forms look a little complicated, so I'll explain. The side is easy enough. I got this all braced up. It's a deep and shallow run, so it'll all go inside there. Then the slab is going to continue here, and this is the footer. Now with the plumbing, I'm separating the two plumbing areas. This whole slab was cut out one time before I got here, and I assume it was to get to the drain pipes. And given how fragile this cast iron is, I'm going to separate it so that if anyone in the future wants to break it out, they don't have to open up the whole slab. They'll just have their little sections to deal with. So here and here, I'm going to pour later in a separate mix that'll have a separation, so you can just get at it easily sometime in the future, just in case. But footer is going to get poured in and just continue to the slab. See, it goes through, so it'll be a single pour, getting the footer and the slab at the same time. Then over here, same thing. It'll be an L shape. So that's the footer, and I have to make a little area for this clean out, and then all the way along there, and that should be it. And then the wheel fell off my wagon. Okay, I pulled the forms off early because I wanted to scratch the surface to prepare for stucco, but I didn't need to because the boards were rough anyway, and it left a nice harsh surface to receive the stucco, so that worked out anyway. Looks like I didn't need to pull the forms off early. But I had a little blowout here. Not good. That's the kind of thing you expect when you pull the forms off early, but maybe I should have waited another hour. I'll have to deal with that somehow. But the rest came out okay. I'm providing bracing so this whole thing doesn't collapse while I do demolition. Check out all the termite damage. The whole thing is eaten up. So the materials I'm using to face this thing is just whatever I have on hand. It's the old stuff that I took off and whatever I have laying around. Like I have these boards I'm going to cut up, these scraps, these things. I just use whatever's available. Now this pile, somebody threw out a bunch of old cedar and I just found it in my alley. So, you know, free wood, free materials. I don't want to go out and buy some new boards just for this. I decided to hire out the stucco job. You see, this job has been sitting idle for many months. I've just been stuck and not doing anything. And this job needs to get done. So I'm hiring out. Anyway, Alfredo came recommended by a friend, and he's just crushing it. Doing it quickly and efficiently. I'm glad I made this choice. Okay, stucco's done and we're ready for the color coat. This part is old paint. Here's the new stucco, and again, over here we have, painted surface. The color coat doesn't stick to paint, so we have to put a bonding agent, which is right here, this stuff. But if I only put the bonding agent on the paint and not the stucco, you'll see a difference in color, because this is porous and this is not. And the bonding agent, by the way, is not porous. So I'm going to put a bonding agent over this entire wall to give a uniformity of color. Now over the bonding agent, the color is going to be a little lighter. So I have to mix it just a little differently. And that's what we're up to. Check it out. This job's done. Look at that. Nice color, uniform color all around, clean lines. The plumbing and electrical are all tucked away. Nice. This is especially rewarding considering what this looked like before. Man, the stucco was a mess, the studs were a mess, the plumbing on the outside, blah, it looked terrible. And this took a long time. I know you can't tell from the video, but many months passed where I wasn't doing stuff and I had to do this and that. It's finally done and I'm very, very happy. So thanks for coming along and I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.